Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another episode of Hearthstone. If things look or sound a little different, that's because I'm testing this out on my new PC. Gaming PC, it's already showing a major improvement, but I'll get into that later. Now also, if you happen to see a deck, the Hearthstone deck tracker right here, I can't see that, but uh, that might just be there at the beginning of episodes and in the menu from now on. Uh, and it also might be the actual first time you've ever actually seen it, because I may have messed up and thought I was showing it for the past few episodes and I haven't been. Uh, the bugs and the mistakes you made are easily found when you start moving to a new computer sometimes. Anyway, so we gotta just curate here. We have one thing that obviously wants to be traded out if we're gonna go for more gold, and that's this one. So we have Rogue, Warrior, Druid, and Hunter, and win 3 games. Alright, so Druid and Hunter it is today. I also had another watch and learn thing, so let's go ahead and open a pack. I'm starting to get a little concerned about the watch and learn things, because this is about the 4th one I've gotten, and because of that, that's about 4 days now where I haven't had the need to record. Alright, so we've got a golden here, and we're going to continue down our path, and it's finally going to pay off. We have 2 of the regular unbound elementals, so I can click on this and disenchant it and get 50 dust, which is going to be helpful. Now I can disenchant the rest of these cards, and we can get some more dust. Let's go back to crafting mode. And with 125 dust, what do I want to create? Could create just about anything, but it should be a card that I talked about that would be really nice. Counter spell might be in the running. Vaporize might have been in the running, but I don't really want to do it there. Equality. Muster for battle. Here's one. Yeah, let's do muster for battle. Create that for 100. Muster for battle was a Goblins vs. Gnome card, but whatever. Right now, the case is all off my computer, and the case fans are not quite what they should be. One of them doesn't work at all. The other is a very old case fan that has no variable speed control cord. New fans have 4 wires coming out of them. The old ones have 3. The old ones will work, however, they just run at 100% of their time and get very noisy. But if we want to talk about what this computer is, it is a 6-core, was it? I forgot the name of the socket. It's a 6-core Intel i7 processor with, I believe, 12 megabytes of L3 cache. It has a GTX, we can't craft anything, so we'll get out of crafting mode. Druid and Hunter. It has 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, I believe, and it has a GTX 970 video card, NVIDIA. I would have liked to gone up to a 980. I would have liked to gone to a Titan or a Titan X, which are the 3 above the 970. But the 970 is working perfectly fine, and I benchmarked it, and according to 3D Mark's free benchmark software, this is a it is in the top 93 percentile of all PCs that have been benchmarked, and it is about 1,000 plus points above what they would label a high-end gaming PC. So far I'm happy with the results. It has a 850 EVO SSD on it, which boots in as little as as 10 seconds. So that has something to be said for it, for sure. 10 seconds to get from pushing the power button on to the desktop with automatic login is pretty nice. But of course this is a brand new install, and that will only go down. Like all computers, it just gets slower. I'm gonna have to check this video and see if there's any blackness right here. That was the problem that I was having previously. It's just a blackness, a black bar is showing up. So I'll have to check on that. So with the SSD, I have yet to plug in the 5 terabyte hard drive. I was using it to move some other files around while I had it free, and so I need to plug that in. I've already installed the Talos Principle and run around it a little bit at the very beginning and see no hitching, no problems. However, we did in the Talos Principle run into several things later on, which so that might just be might be a actual better reason for that. Let's see, let's kill that one. Oh, that was nice. That was nice. Alright, Druid's turn. I'm thinking I'm going to work my way eventually, possibly at this point, I'm going to stop labeling the Hearthstone episodes what characters we're playing. It adds work to me. It just does. It is so much easier to say, to look at the videos on the website, on YouTube, and say, well, the previous episode was number this, the next one will be number that. But then if I have to go and still haven't fixed that deck. If I have to go in there and watch the video and fast forward through it to see what characters I played as, that adds about 5 or 10 minutes extra, which for all the videos I upload is quite a lot. That was a waste of the coin, but whatever. Not thinking straight. One thing that's happening with YouTube, or at least my fear that might be happening with YouTube, is that I might be getting too many videos put up. But I really don't know how I can not do that. Truth is, I gotta get the videos out. It's only gonna pile up more and more. I could make less videos, but then that doesn't really work towards the goals of getting more subscribers and more views. So, yeah, maybe you could accuse me of becoming a little bit spammy. just out of the fact that I've got so much footage. I hope nobody feels like they're getting spammed. I hope they see the videos and it's not, I mean, the only time I feel like I'm really spammed it was probably when I released series like Portal, and I just released every single episode right then and there. I guess that technically might be considered spam.
For the wilds. Job done.
But if I have 6 or 7 games that I'm releasing every day, I can't do anything about that other than maybe we will eventually go to daily release schedules. I could do that. And then we could just, on Hearthstone I wonder. Might become like only Monday through Thursday.
For not
and that might adjust the schedule a little bit. That'd be a little bit more difficult to do. But with the watch and learn things showing up, that is a concern. It is definitely a concern. If I'm 4 days behind, which is not really a problem, because I've certainly made some extra videos to be ahead. But if I get watch and learn about once every 2 weeks, well then once every 2 weeks I'd be even one more video short. That'd be fine actually, because you get 6 recordings right now for 5 days every week. So even if it was once every week, I'm fine. So I guess I don't need to worry about that. Let's see. Deal 5 damage to a minion.
Job done.
So yes, get back to the computer. It has a 750 watt power supply, which probably would be fine if I wanted to put a second video card in it, which is something maybe down the line. I mean, if I get donations all of a sudden and it really did, and there really wasn't enough money in there to just buy another 970, yeah, why not? Why not do a second one in SLI mode, double the video processing, which I don't really feel like it's going to be needed right now. It might be needed in the future. And let's see, if this thing could do 4-way SLI or 3-way SLI, but I really would have to wonder about whether they would anymore would fit. It would be very tight, very, very tight in this case on the motherboard.
Snakes. It has to be snakes.
Just in the sense that each video card of the brand I have, so I would have to get the exact same brand from the exact same company, takes up 2 slots. So the fans would be about 1 millimeter away from the back of the next video card, which isn't a terrible idea. I mean, that would just cool off the back of that one, but it would be really, really tight. And going for a 3-way or 4-way SLI, probably not worth it, but it would improve the video quality, definitely. Although I don't know if it really would, because we've got to stay at 1080p 60. I mean, I just don't have the internet to be uploading a 2K or 4K video files, and that's really what the 1970 would be probably alright doing 4K things. I was able to already watch the 4K examples of
For the wild.
on 4K at 60 frames per second on YouTube, and those would not run at all on my laptop, which was a 750M. They would not run. They would just, well, they would run, but they'd pause and freeze and then skip a bunch of frames and pause and freeze and skip a bunch of frames. Well, lost this game. But they ran perfectly fine on my new thing. And then I downloaded a 4K video MKV file. It's a video you can get from the Blender Foundation called Sintel, S-I-N-T-E-L, which is pretty cool little animation, and it runs perfectly fine. So 4K would run fine. It probably would even run fine as I record. Now, the question is when you start putting the physics in it. When I am able to
Let the hunt
install
begin.
that last piece of The Witcher 3 because I pre-installed. So I downloaded a big old bunch of files, like 25 gigs it felt like worth of files, and I'm not exaggerating. I think it was around 25 gigs. That it let me pre-install everything except for a tiny thing. That way I can start recording as soon as possible. As far as The Witcher 3. But when The Witcher 3 comes out, it's gonna be trying to push the video cards. It's gonna be trying to use a lot more physics. I mean, there's probably no physics going on. Like, maybe this waving here might be a little bit of physics in Hearthstone. But once you start doing 3D environments, first-person environments, that's where it was gonna start trying to push the boundaries of the video card. And I don't know if one 970 would be good enough for a brand new game that is really pushing the video card at 4K and recording at 4K and all of that. So yeah, there's really no question that we're gonna stay at 1080p. Most of the people, I don't know, I mean, I wouldn't say most of the people watching would, at best they're going to be watching at 1080p, but there might be a small skew of people that are trying to watch at 4K. I can't even watch at 4K, it's one of the problems. I don't have a monitor. I'm watching through a 1080p TV. So I would need to get a monitor, and I would want to get a 30-inch monitor, so that there's another $600 to $1,000, I would guess, of funds I would need just to go to 4K. So even if I bought a 4K TV, that would cost even more, probably. This new video card is slightly weird in that it sends out the video as DVI. And the TV certainly recognizes that and said you can only watch a DVI signal on the first HDMI. So plug it into the first HDMI. So that's what I did.
I'm not a morning person. I am not a morning person.
Yep. But that's not a real problem. and it was able to get the audio without me having to plug an optical out into the
I can see.
Without having to plug an optical out cord from the motherboard's onboard audio into the video card, which is nice because I certainly had to do that the last time I built a computer, but apparently they fixed that. I'm just gonna stick with Hunter. Hunter has won twice, Druid hasn't won at all. Game 4, then game 5, and then we'll call it an episode. So that's nice. It's one less cord I have to try and find, or get another one of. I would like to put my really old computer back together, but it's kind of silly because
Let the hunt begin.
like my video card's a GTX 970. The video cards on the last desktop gaming, somewhat gaming PC, it wasn't even really a gaming PC, had two passively cooled video cards that are so old they're not even in the GTX. Like the laptop is 2 years, is a 750, and the video cards I have, I forget what they're called, what they are, but they're not a number or anything. They're like, well, they are a number, but it's not a GTX number. It's so old that it's before they even started using that system. So putting it together isn't really gonna do anything. It's almost a situation of put it together and then put it together and then just give it away to a kid. Oh yeah, that didn't work at all. That was dumb. Yeah, the computer's so old. It still would work. It's just so old. It wouldn't work well. It's almost like it's down to the level of a toy. Not like a quote-unquote man toy like most computers, but it's down to the level of here's something I wouldn't mind if a 12-year-old took a screwdriver to and took apart. Because, wow. And that's weird to say, but yeah, that's the truth of it.
Job done.
I haven't ever really built a gaming PC. It's worth pointing out, because I was a console gamer. If we go back into the history of Rydo, like most people, I started with an NES, although I have played some things that predate it. I started with the NES. I pretty much stuck with the NES for a good long while, and we didn't get a Super NES at all. And then we got back into it with the Nintendo 64, and then we got the GameCube and the Wii, and pretty much after the Wii I got an Xbox 360, and then I got a PlayStation 3, but I really only played like 3 or 4 games on that. I actually got the PlayStation 3 before I got the 360. Then I fell into the Xbox 360 hard, and when I got the 360, it was pretty much the time when I first had my
Shields
first job, so I was buying games for myself with my own money for the first time, and boy was that freedom great. I would hope that's the right thing to say about that, that the freedom was great, but let's see. Kill this one. Kill this one. Could nope. Let's go ahead and kill this one. Play board control.
That minion a turn to get ready.
Then he couldn't attack. Oh well, that was a pretty good trade there. And so with the 360, I really fell back into games a lot more. Definitely working my first job. Eventually, I bought my first car that I actually paid for, and went further down the thing. I was really big into the concept of trying to go after the quote-unquote American dream of own a car, own a house, get a wife, have 2.5 kids and a dog. And at one point I did own a car. Well, I still own a car, but I owned a car I bought from scratch and paid off. And then I owned a house that I bought from scratch and never paid off. And I had a dog. I never got a wife and never had 2.5 kids. I guess that'll work. And the truth of the matter is that I lost practically all of those things. My car was totaled, my house fell apart, and I had to get rid of it. It was a piece of junk house that I bought at the housing bubble, and so it was a #1 mistake is buying a house. You really need to be ready to settle down and live somewhere for the next 30 years if you're gonna buy a house. And then still I would recommend thinking real hard about it. I'm gonna get rid of this guy, he's getting powerful. I guess I should have tried to kill this guy, but I'll kill him next turn. So I lost my car, I lost my house. At a certain point, I lost my job. I lost my dog. He didn't die, but I had to give him up because I couldn't afford to take care of him anymore. And I mean, that was the saddest part. I didn't care about the car. I loved that car, but I really loved the dog a lot more. The house I hated at the end. It was a mess and a nightmare.
Handle it.
So yeah, I lost every single thing that the quote-unquote American dream is supposed to do. That you're supposed to want and you're supposed to do. And frankly, now that I look back on it, I don't want really any of this. You have to have a car almost certainly, but as a YouTuber, I kinda don't. But I still do have one. But it's a piece of junk. But I'll leave that. It actually has this wonderful thing now that I'm in the middle of a storm season, and both of the windows on the back sides just fall down when the wind blows. So it's just the windows fall down and it rains in there, and all kinds of animals and garbage can get in there, and I really can't. Don't want to and can't afford to fix it. It just sucks. But I don't own a house. I'm living with someone else as an arrangement that is mutually beneficial to both of us. Although actually, since it's a disabled family member, it's actually very much beneficiary for them because I end up spending a lot of free time taking care of them. So yeah, do I want to own another car? Possibly. A little bit, sorta. Not a ton. Do I want to own another house? Yes, I'd love to own it. Do I want to pay that mortgage payment? No, I don't. Do I want to get a dog? Yeah, sorta. But
I've got a huge
taking care of dogs are a lot of work, and I've gotten less healthy and less active since the last time I had one, and I just don't feel like I would have enough free time to play with them and be a good owner to them. Particularly being a YouTuber, because I guess that's why you see a lot of cats on YouTube and not that many dogs, is dogs will just start barking. Dogs would ruin video recordings like crazy. So I guess that's why cats are slightly more popular. And I've considered getting a cat, but I'm not particularly a cat person. So I don't think I'd do that. My ideal solution to that, I always tell people, is I just want a robot dog that looks like a real dog. So it looks like it has fur, and it looks like a real dog in all ways. It's just robotic, so I can say, go into silent mode, and I never have to bother with feeding him. I never have to bother giving him water. I never have to bother picking up any poop or him peeing on anything. That would be the ideal situation. And of course it would be able to charge itself, so it could just run to like a wireless charging mat like you have for cell phones. The robot dog would just go lie on a mat and that would be charging it. That would be my ideal solution right there. I'm not gonna win this. I think we may go back to Druid. I don't have much left. I could get Explosive Trap. I've pretty much thrown everything I could at this guy, and he's been able to beat me. Yeah, I think he could have won right then, and he chose not to. No, he was going to anyways. Oh, he's dragging this along. Good. It doesn't help recordings for them to drag it. So we'll do Druid for our last game. It's kind of weird we went from the new computer to talking about why I don't have a dog anymore. But ideally, I would like to pay off the house I'm living in. If I could pay off the house,
You asked for it.
then it wouldn't be an unrealistic thought that I would get the deed of the house. And then that would be great. Ideally, I'd like to get one of the Google cars when it comes out. That would drive me around. That would be really nice. Or if I had to get a new car right now, maybe consider getting a Tesla electric car, but those are pretty expensive still. Let's see, throw this out, throw this out, throw this out. Into turn. But that's pretty much what I want as far as long-term goals. Is yes, probably need some transportation. I don't live in an area where you could take the bus seriously. Give your minions +1/+1. Let's do this. I've never done this way. But, and yes, it would be nice to pay off the house, and then I just want financial stability for the rest of it. If eventually this YouTube channel gets enough revenue where it's paying enough to the point where I could save some for retirement, because we all have to think at least that YouTube is eventually going to go away. So the thought that for the next 30 to 40 years I'm going to be able to do this is not the safest bet to make. Well, it would be nice, it's just not likely.
Bathe in flames.
So I definitely would like to save up. If I was able to save up and do all this YouTube stuff, and then for some reason it all went away, but I could retire, I think I probably would just retire. I think that I'd be totally fine with it, as long as I can live a decent lifestyle, a conservative lifestyle. I would just retire. I wouldn't particularly start another project immediately. I probably eventually would think of something, some hobby or something to do. The concept that
My shield for
that
Argon.
video game recording streaming would go is kind of unrealistic. Even if YouTube goes away, well, Twitch will still be around. Unless they just make some kind of like really draconian law. It would have to be something like all game streaming is illegal,
We must
or all
cleanse
video
the
games in
Sunwell.
general is illegal. And I mean, that's not realistic that would ever happen. But if something like that came about, maybe then I'd have to think of something else to do. And I don't know what I would do. One of the things I realized when I was putting together this computer, which is partially because I didn't want to build the computer. I didn't want to get a new computer. It sounds silly, but I wasn't ready mentally to spend the money and buy something new. I would have much preferred to have kept the money in my savings account, because that's all gone now. That I spent every last dime of my savings account to build this thing, and I would have much rather preferred that. So when I was putting together this computer, it was pretty frustrating. It was not a situation where I was thinking to myself, yeah, this is great, I love this, like I would have possibly a few years ago. It was a lot more, the situation was like, I can't believe I have to spend the time on this. I would rather not be doing this right now. And I've kind of fallen into that. My server needs a lot of help, partially because it's just stuck at the situation where it doesn't have enough space. My old computer sat for so long that it broke the power supply. Somehow the capacitors dried out in it, is what somebody thought went wrong with it.
Power flows.
Here we go. Is this yes, it is.
My magic will tear you.
Oh, you're gonna threaten me after I That's really gonna be hard. Well, so 3 victories for 40 gold, and we got 3 of the 5 we need for Druid versus Hunter. So that's pretty good. And so that's gonna be the end of this episode. A little bit rambly, but just talking, really. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. Still so stuck on the outro. I need a new art guy. I need somebody to step up and suggest and volunteer to make art for me, because I can't make an outro unless I have something artistic or video to put behind it, and the guy I've got now is just a flake. He's nothing but a flake. He gives me one thing once a month when he needs to have been giving me things all done by now. Everything I've asked for, because I haven't asked for a lot. If you want to support me, there's 3 ways there. You can volunteer to be my art guy, and or you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. You click that, you donate money to me. That's the best way to get the most money to me. The lesser way, but easier for other people, is to click on the Amazon.com link in the description and just shop normally. If you want to follow or friend me on practically any social media, that information is down below also. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.